Other than a dog, there's probably no greater companion to have out when you're stargazing than a solid pair of binoculars. I'm Michael Martin, and welcome to Late Night Astronomy, your guide to the best objects, events, and equipment to help you get into amateur astronomy. I've recently bought a new pair of binoculars from Orion telescopes, and I'd like to unbox them for you today and go through some of the reasons why I bought them, and also field test them under the night sky to see just how well they perform compared to others that I've owned in the past. So Orion got these shipped out to me pretty quick, and one of the deals that they had, or promotions during this time, was a free binocular astronomy field guide. This retails for $12 or $15, and they threw it in with the binoculars, which is a nice thing, especially if you're a beginner just getting into this hobby. So I ended up getting the Orion 10x50 UltraView wide-angle binoculars. Got a nice Orion telescope case that they come in right here. They already weigh a little more than I thought. Not exactly in a bad way, but this is quite substantial. We've got a neck strap here that we'll connect to that later. And here we have them. So I'd owned a pair of 15x70 binoculars, and they just weighed too much. I ended up not using them as much as I would like to because of their weight. So part of what I was looking for here were binoculars that were about 2 pounds and that had a little bit less magnification. So these are 10x50 binoculars, and these are very sturdy. They're not heavy, but this is a solid, good build and construction to them. One of the main things I was looking for in a new pair of binoculars was ease of use and comfort. And that's exactly why I ended up with these binoculars in the price range that I was looking at. They've got 22 millimeters of eye relief, which is going to be very beneficial for those of you that wear glasses, but it'll just be more comfortable for practically everybody looking to observe the night sky. That distance pretty much means where your eye has to be to see the entire field of view. If the eye relief is less, your eye has to be closer to the glass, and if the eye relief is more generous, it can be a little bit farther away. The rotating eye cups that we have here also caught my attention, and this may not seem like a big thing, but seeing these for the first time and doing this really has a premium quality build to them versus the fold-in eye caps that I'm used to from other binoculars I've owned in the past. That and the eye relief is probably going to lead to some very nice views. We're going to be looking at a 6.5 degree field of view with these binoculars specifically. And all of that added together, along with them weighing roughly 2 pounds, will hopefully mean that most nights we don't have to use them with a tripod adapter. But if you do want to do that for long extended studies of certain objects, they've got a tripod adapter right here that'll work just fine for that. I'll be sure to leave a link to these specific binoculars in the description below, along with a few others from some companies that I think might also work well for you depending on the price range that you're working with to get into this hobby. Please know that if you buy from these links, I may earn a small commission that'll help support this channel. Now let's put these binoculars to the test by going outside right after sunset and beginning with some observations of the moon. And then once the moon has set, we'll turn our attention to deep sky objects and try to hunt down some open clusters, globular clusters, and maybe even a few galaxies if the light pollution will allow it. We're outside about 30 minutes after sunset to put these binoculars to their first test on our closest neighbor, the moon. There's no more popular target in astronomy than our closest neighbor, and there's a unique perspective that you get of this target when you're looking at it with both eyes through a pair of binoculars. So let's put these 10x50s to the test and start by looking at the surface of the moon. So let's get this focused. You obviously have the center focus wheel right here, but we also have what's called a diopter that'll allow you to do slight adjustments if you have one eye that focuses slightly different than the other, which is a common thing that a lot of people have. So to do this, I'm going to begin by covering the side that has the diopter, that's on the right side here, and I'm going to focus the moon or a pinpoint star using just the center focus wheel. Then focusing the left eye. That's pretty good and sharp. And then we're going to cover the left eye and then make slight adjustments with the diopter. That's pretty good right there. That's a great view of the moon. First thing I'm noticing here is a lot less light reflection than I had in my previous pair of binoculars. My previous pair weren't fully multi-coated. These are, and I think I'm seeing part of the benefit of that in terms of not as much glare as I'm used to. Another thing I'm noticing, and I'm not sure if this is a benefit of just the glass and the optics or that they're fully multi-coated, but there's less chromatic aberrations around the edge of the moon. On my previous pair of binoculars, there was almost a discoloration that occurred on kind of sharp edges or bright edges of objects, especially the edge of the moon compared to the background of space. This is appearing just as a much more clean and sharp image all around. Looking at how well this is sharp across the field of view, I'd say, let's check that with a star, which would be better. Just to pick a random star near the moon. Still nice and focused, sharp in the middle, moving out to the side. Yeah, it starts to get a little elongated, 60 or 70% out, but for this price range, these pair of binoculars, that's to be expected, and it's not that distracting because you're going to be almost always focused on the center. But you've got what appears to be very sharp optics from the center out to 60 or 70% out, which is about or better than what I expected. That's better than my last pair and pretty impressive for this price range. Another thing to mention for these binoculars is they are not waterproof. I don't know about you, but I tend to not do my astronomy out when it's raining. But if you're looking to buy these for hunting or for anything outdoors that could involve weather, just know that for these. I'll leave a link in the description below to some models that are waterproof if that interests you for what you're looking to use a pair of binoculars for. All right, so let's let the moon get out of the way and set, and let's let it get darker, and let's turn our attention to some deep sky objects, especially some of the brighter galaxies that are out there, to see what we can see with these new 10x50 pair of binoculars. I'm back outside about an hour and a half after sunset to test these new pair of binoculars on a pair of deep sky objects. I'm hoping to complete the Astronomical League's Messier binocular program, which allows you to choose 50 out of the 110 Messier objects to view with a pair of binoculars. I'm hoping to get a few of them tonight, specifically M81 and M82 near Ursa Major. So let's turn our attention to that part of the sky and see if we can find them with this 10x50 pair of binoculars. So we've got the Big Dipper right there. There's Dubhe. And off from that should be M81 and M82. Under Bortle 5 skies, this is going to be a pretty decent test of this size binocular and magnification with my... Okay, there's one of them. Off the top of my head, I don't know if it's M81 or M82, but there's one of them. Okay, there it is. Yeah, there they both are. Right where they should be. The other one is much more faint than the first one that I noticed. But we've got the cigar shape and then the more kind of classical blurry spiral. They are definitely faint fuzzies. Overall, I'm very pleased with this 10x50 pair of binoculars from Orion. Being fully multi-coated with BAK glass, along with a solid construction and a very generous eye relief, make them comfortable to use with very sharp optics, especially at this price range. Pinpoint stars out to 60 to 70% towards the edge of the field of view, being able to make out faint deep sky objects under a Bortle 5 sky at 10 times magnification. But most importantly, I don't have to use a tripod when I use them. and that was not the case for my previous pair of binoculars that were just too large and too heavy for use simply by hand. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it and consider subscribing to this channel to join our growing community. But most importantly, let me know about your questions regarding these binoculars and share ones that you enjoy to use for others to see in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for your continued support, and clear skies from Late Night Astronomy.